Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John and Jenna with Flippin' Ain't Easy. Welcome back everyone, and so glad to see we have quite a few people waiting for the live, so that's really cool. How was your week, guys? I gotta say it's been sort of a strange week between the sales, or kind of based on my previous weeks, the lack thereof. I mean, it's sort of slow. Even though eBay still says I'm up about 4% for the month as compared to the previous, but it was like 13% like a week ago. So I don't know. Hearing a lot of people complaining, not really complaining, but because it's really not meant to be a complaint, I know that, but just commenting on the lack of views or impressions. And I can tell you that ever since about the 16th, 17th, this is looking at my my traffic reports, that traffic has gone down, I'd say about 10 to 20%. Now, what can that be? Is that because of what I'm going to talk about here in a second, that eBay is making changes to the site, and it may be that they may have come across that the impressions weren't reporting correctly and they changed it. I mean, you got to look at it at the standpoint is, why would eBay just go and just change the traffic all of a sudden? Is it something they're doing on the back end that's preventing the traffic from seeing our stuff? Is there other technical things that they'll never tell us because they say there's something going on that's wrong? Then of course people will panic, their stock prices will fall, and that's the last thing that eBay ever wants to do. So for me, it's just another obstacle, and we're just going to have to push through. I mean, it sucks. My sales aren't as good as they were a week or two ago, but you know what? That's not going to stop me. I'm going to keep getting out there with my routine and doing what I know has worked all this time. And for some, what used to work isn't working anymore. So it's all about gravitating to finding that answer. Now, for one seller, the answer is going to be different than another seller. And that's the hard part about flipping. That's why it ain't easy. And you have to figure that out on your own. Now, you're not quite on your own today. This is why we have these live streams, so that we can bounce ideas off of each other and try to figure this whole thing out. I see a lot of people that want to quit. They comment in the videos, they're quitting. But really, I mean, why not make an effort to adapt before you quit? So that's kind of what we're here for. Before we kind of get on to what I was going to talk about, if you're with us live today, please take time to ask your questions, comment in the live chat. That's kind of what drives the program. If you're not able to make it with us live, I get it. It happens. You can't make every one of these, but certainly comment down below. And no matter how you participate, please hit that like button. Even if you're not even going to participate, maybe you just want to listen to the live stream, hit the like button. That helps other people kind of understand that we have a pretty cool reseller community here. We get together twice a week, Mondays and Fridays, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern.
And not to mention, if you hit the like, you will get a sale within the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Or your money back. So checking out one of the sources that I like to use, which is e-commerce bites. And I'm going to do a little screen share here if I can. I think I got it here. Okay. So here we go. It's eBay to overhaul site and make it magically easy to list. So eBay CEO Jamie Iannone, I think that's how you pronounce the name, but I may be wrong with that, wants to reinvent the future of e-commerce for enthusiasts only at eBay, he told Wall Street. The slogan, which doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, was featured in an accompanied slide deck. So he told Wall Street that he has now set his sights on an even more ambitious vision than when he joined the company 3 years ago, when he had announced his tech-led reimagination vision for the company. Now, any of you guys appreciate the tech leadership that we've had to deal with the last 3 years? Want to hear from you. I know told analysts to expect comprehensive overhaul of eBay's user experience and design that would be rolled out in phases over the course of 2023 and beyond. So, guys, the tinkering of the site is here, and it's going to keep continuing. And from my experience, anyone who plays video games or has ever played video games knows that when you create a program, usually there's a patch that follows it to fix the bug. So had real quick, just to deviate away from this just for a second, had a conversation with Jovial Juggler, sent me an email.
Jovial.
Yeah, they sent her Rhonda.
Oh.
They sent her she found a listing in her active items that showed test listing as the title of the item. And of course she called eBay to try to figure out what the heck's going on. Why are you doing this to my account? They couldn't give her an answer, of course, but my answer to her when she shared that with me was that we are beta testers. We are here to beta test and to be a part of their bug fixing mechanism when they come out with new software. So just know that this is going to be the norm here for the next year and a half at least. So let's continue with this here. And let's see. In fact, the CEO said eBay had begun rolling out changes already in recent months by testing a more modern and intuitive view item page that offers a streamlined experience, larger and higher resolution images, and optimized information hierarchy. Early tests indicate a measurable uplift in GMV versus the current design. The new design is meant to appeal to Gen Z shoppers. Well, that's great. We've been talking about trying to appeal to the younger generation, but you can't stop there by creating a site. If these Gen Zers don't know the site exists because they're busy shopping on other sites and you're not advertising to them, then that's still a problem. So hopefully that's after this is all done, and hopefully before then, they start getting the word out through advertising to these Gen Z shoppers, which of course should boost traffic for all of us. But going back, it says over the next few quarters, eBay will continue to roll out an evolved look, feel, and experience, including updates to the view item page, header, homepage, search results, and other landing pages. eBay is also investing in new capabilities for searching, including deep learning and visual similarity to improve ranking and retrieval, reducing queries with low or no results to surface more of our amazing inventory for our customers. So that kind of tells me they're going to keep tweaking the search engine, and why we're probably right now have been seeing issues with search because it's kind of broken. It's not where they want it to be, and they're going to keep tweaking it until they get it right. So expect problems. I guess that's the translation that's not said, is expect problems in that area. Ionon says that I guess that's how you pronounce his name, said his e-commerce reinvention strategy would rest in 3 pillars: relevant experiences. I guess that may be like what we are as a community going through these experiences. Hopefully they're seeing what we're dealing with. Scalable solutions and magical innovation. I don't know what the heck magical. What magical?
I want to see sparks fly.
We're going to get us extra
glitter.
unicorns for our items. The CEO touted a feature recently launched that offers sellers the ability to add AI-generated item descriptions. Be very careful with that, guys. AI-generated item descriptions is still very new, and you don't want it to tout something about your item that isn't true. That's NINAD waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Calling it an early version of its magical listing experience. So I guess the AI is this whole magical experience. About 30% of users tried the feature, and 90% of them accepted AI generation descriptions. Ionon says 80% were satisfied with the feature, among the highest number of satisfaction rate for any new feature launched in recent memory. Yeah, well, how many people ended up with INADs as a result of those descriptions? I'm just curious. You'll never see that stat.
You'll never hear the real truth.
He said sellers have told eBay that the AI feature would unlock more of the unique inventory in their closets, and he said that on average, description lengths doubled when sellers used the new generative AI feature, but we are just getting started. That scares me right there. But Ianon says that also provided some information about international sellers in response to an analyst's question about China dropshippers. Now, this is where he totally misses the question because, as many of you guys know, there's a big problem with China dropshippers that are totally undercutting a lot of categories because they get such cheap shipping. But the answer to that was we've been working with some of our sellers to be forward deploying of our inventory, which has just helped diffuse some of that supply chain pressure. What does that have to do with anything? And he said eBay was making it easier for sellers to export items throughout the globe.
You must sit next to Bob.
So he might be Bob. So that's it, guys. That's what they had to say. In a nutshell, there's going to be more AI infused, and I think that's going to be across the board no matter what platform you're selling. Yeah, but what scares me the most is that there's going to be more tinkering, and examples of what Jovial had showed me today is that we are going to be their test dummies. And to what extent? It just makes me crazy that they can't develop sort of a way of building this platform without affecting us. Maybe sign up some sellers, give them a discount on their final value fees if they're willing to be beta testers to test the software. And then once all the bugs are worked out, then launch it across the board. I don't know, guys. I want to know what you guys think in the chat and what you guys think of all this. But want to say thank you. We got a piece of mail from Michelle Williams.
We've got mail.
Yeah, I don't know what she goes under.
Michelle Williams.
But I don't know if that's what she goes under.
Yeah, I don't know what her actual.
But she sent us a nice little card, and a cool little sign we're going to hang up. It's a salty pirate lives here with his beautiful mermaid. And it's going to go right up there behind us at some point somewhere. So,
isn't it so cute?
Yeah.
We love you, Michelle. Thank you.
That's very nice of you. And we always like to show little gifts.
We like little gifts.
Yeah. So want to know what you guys think down below. And, of course, I'm going to go through and see who's here with us. We have Biscuit Butt. He's out and about. I know that. Mark, let's see. Hi, John and Jenna. Also, hello to everyone in the room. I did a deal with John today. He is the best seller ever that I have done business. Thanks for making a great get a sale to me. Well, he noticed an item that we had in the background of one of my videos or one of the latest videos I put out and asked about it, gave him a deal, and we worked it out. And they're still waiting to pick it up, so they should be here any moment.
The doorbell will ring any moment now.
USPS came. She had only one package to pick up. A very light day on that side of things, but we have about 7 packages that we have to send out by FedEx today. We have Bill York in the house. Thanks for being here, Bill. Hustle and Grow. I checked out his video the other day. What's up, everyone? I'm going to try to catch this one from the beginning. Appreciate your consistency, John. Consistency, if you enjoy what you do, I think it's easier to be consistent. So we look forward to these lives.
Although putting out videos for John can be a little on the frustrating side when things don't go his way.
Not really.
With the electronics. Yeah. And he gets very angry.
I don't get angry.
You do.
I get ticked off.
Oh man, he was ready to throw. He is throwing in the towel.
But see, here's the thing. When you say angry, people think I'm throwing things, kicking things. Yeah, no, there's a couple F-bombs involved. But
F-bombs, throwing of the phone. I mean,
never threw the phone. I know not to do that.
Yes, you do this.
Oh, well, that's a drop.
No. I was being light with it. He gets very angry.
I know that's my main device.
Especially the camera.
But,
And then I'm coming in here like, what is wrong with you? And he's like, bomb that.
I was trying to make a video, and I did make the video with my my webcam and the software that I use to do the screen shares and everything.
Yeah, he lowered the shelf so that we're not like.
Yeah, and this camera here was really on my last nerve. I'll just tell you that. But no, I'm not a raging lunatic. But guess what? I'm human. I do. Yeah, I'm not a raging lunatic. You have always.
I've seen worse. So he is mild compared to others. However,
but
he does get a little
I got to interrupt
crazy.
you. Guess who's back?
Jack's back.
He came back.
Hi, Jack.
He came back. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. Any thoughts on the item not received? INR pretty much had all my auctions canceled because I had one item not received or item received not. Only been on eBay 9 months or so. So
item not received.
So here's the deal. I don't know if eBay is going to cancel your auctions over an item not received unless you've been somewhat suspended. If you aren't, let's say they open an item not received, which simply is they're complaining that they haven't received it yet. They want you to step in and say, where their package is, maybe give them some insight on what's going on with it. It didn't arrive within the time frame that eBay has told them. So that's when you go in and you upload the tracking number again. I don't know why eBay makes you do that, but just say, hey, look, eBay gives us 10 days from the last update on the tracking before we have to do anything. Please be patient, yada, yada, yada. But if you fail to meet eBay's deadline, then what's going to happen is that they're going to find it in the buyer's favor. And I would be surprised that they didn't give that person a refund because you didn't. I'm just guessing. Maybe you did do this in a timely manner. But there is no reason for them, just for a simple item not received, to shut down your auction. So I've never seen that or heard of that. There's always that little thing that's missing. But you should contact eBay, maybe eBay for Business on Facebook Messenger, and hopefully they can at least give you a reason why they shut these down and what you can do in the future. And many times they do it by accident. They make mistakes. So
you got to call them out on their mistakes.
Yeah, don't just roll over and let time pass before they let you list again. This is money that's out of your pocket, and every day that goes by is a day you can't list. So make sure that you're not suspended or anything like that. But thank you, Jack, for coming back. And again, you don't have to send super chats to ask a question, but we certainly appreciate you for doing that. So that's awesome of you. Thank you. We got Bill York. We said hey to him. Victor Wawiorka says, hello, everyone. Hope you all have a great weekend. Yes. Thank you. Looking forward to a great weekend. Looking forward to this place cooling down. Tuesday is supposed to drop about 10 to 15 degrees down to about 100 degrees. So hopefully that happens on Tuesday. Kim Sharp says, happy Friday, everyone. Thanks for the live. Just the inspiration I need to stop watching Netflix and get back to listing on the computer. Yep, that is. Those TV shows.
If I turned on Netflix while I was working, I would be murdered.
This one in her shows that she makes me watch late at night, her Love Island stuff, the Big D or whatever, Big D, where the divorcees go and try to make each other jealous. It's like, this is ridiculous. I don't want to watch this nonsense. It's
mindless TV.
It's nonsense.
I like mindless TV at the end of the day.
It's nonsense.
Because I watch court cases all day.
And she may list one or two items.
That's a lie. Don't
lie.
But
my point to you, Kim, is that Netflix and all these other programs can be very distracting. They can cause your productivity to go down.
Maybe she's taking a break, and that's her.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not your supervisor. That's your job. But what I'm saying is it's just a reminder that you can get more done if you shut those things off. Now, I think I like playing a lot of these live streams in the background while I work. It keeps me kind of in a zone. That, and when I throw my music on, it keeps me in a zone, a little bit different zone.
You haven't listened to music in a while.
Because that's when we were driving. I listened to enough music, but it is what it is. I get into my moods, and I'll do one of those two things. But we have Deportes en el Recuerdo says, hi, everybody. Please talk about promoted listing standard impressions being dramatically dropped. Is it another glitch or eBay trying to push us to do promoted advanced? I did notice in a few listings that I've listed recently that if you want to call it dropped, it's like 9.7%, right? To me, dropped would be like 5 or 6% as a recommended. but I'm not seeing that at all anymore. I'm seeing at least 9%. I'm not seeing 15%. They probably got the message. I think they probably figured out that a lot of us are onto them. That this whole idea that they're going to push us by recommending a suggested promoted rate that's well above 10%, and somehow that's going to trick sellers into thinking that that's just the way you have to sell items, is by being above those or at those rates, is just, to me, ridiculous. I think I'm able to sell at a 10% cap, sometimes a little bit lower than that, just fine.
Not everything that I've gone to list has been well over 15%, as it's suggested. There's no way on the crap that I'm listing I'm going to make it 15%.
Yeah.
I've been doing, well, I'm running a theory. I'm doing a 2.5 on some items and a 4.5 on some items.
So what we're kind of doing is on that account, we're taking a lot of the media and we're kind of bundling it. So we're bundling it into like, action films versus comedy, sci-fi, things like that, rather than selling them as individual lots or individual items. We're selling them into lots, and just to move it, really, more than anything else. The alternative is just to have a collection that we put out when I think fall hits, where we finally can get our yard sale in. We're in an HOA, and we can only do a yard sale in the spring and the fall. So it's just a matter of finding creative ways to move that stuff, and that's kind of what we're doing there. But I got to tell you, again, don't worry about what eBay is doing with their promoted suggested rates. Just find a cap. So I use the dynamic model, but I tell eBay 10% is my max. So I don't care if you're going to tell everyone it's 5% and in 10 minutes change it to 7%. For me, have me at that number, but 10 is my max. And that's sort of what's working well for me. For you, it might be 5%. For some others, it might be somewhere in between. I would say, though, that if you're promoting anything higher than 10%,
you're just making it hard for everyone else.
No, well, but the thing, that's
or setting a standard
to an extent, but you're not. I don't think the benefit is as good as I call it the juice is not worth the squeeze.
Right.
And I think you're giving away too much of your profits for really no reason. Bottom line is, and it's a case in point with our other store. If you don't have good stuff, you're not gonna. I don't care how creative you're gonna get. It's just gonna be hard to move it. And we're trying to see creatively what we can do with that merchandise, short of just dumping it all. We're talking almost 600 items, but we're not quite there yet. But my main focus is on what my bread and butter is, and that's on my main account with only a little over 200 listings, and that's where the sales are for me. So that's where my attention is. So we have Mike Camparelli says, hi, John and Jenna and FAE fam. My sales have continued to improve since I went all promoted in my store. Not promoting my new listings, though. I'll give them 30 days organic viewing first. So I like that model. I like the model of don't promote for the first, you pick it out, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. And then every week, maybe start at 2%. And then after a week or two, bump it to 3, and then bump it to 4, and then bump it to 5. And then by the time you get to, and just because your item's not selling. So by the time you get to the third or fourth month, you want it out of there, guys. I mean, at the point where you're probably willing to take what you put into it just to move it, just to clear space. And that's what retail stores do. Item sits on the shelf too long, they just throw it in the clearance.
Yeah.
And so instead of lowering your price, you're raising your promoted rates very gradually. And that's why there's a benefit of having in your SKU, when you listed that item, and maybe every week add an asterisk. Maybe once a week you should be going through your stuff and maybe changing your rates every week or every 2 weeks. In Mike's case, he's doing it every month. And that
gives it a fair chance too.
Yeah, I like the 30-day model when you're dealing with, okay, I'm listing this on eBay, and now the item's been sitting in my store for 30 days. Now it's time to push it out to other stores, to cross-post onto Mercari, Poshmark, and all that. And then that way you lessen the risk of it selling twice in 2 stores, one on your eBay store, one on maybe Mercari, because it ain't that hot on eBay. It's been sitting there 30 days. So the chances of it selling in both
our
spots.
Luck,
well, that's different.
It would, as soon as it lists over there on Mercari, or it sells on Mercari, boom, somebody's on eBay buying it.
But not everyone has our luck.
Well, I wouldn't wish our luck on anyone.
Well, hey, look, I don't think we're that unlucky. I mean, I'm sure that sometimes we just don't see the bad luck that everyone else has, but everyone has their run of bad luck.
This is true.
Callie Deb says, hi, John and Jenna, everyone in the chat. Thanks for being here. That stranger's with us. Thanks for being here.
AEIOU.
From eBay says, haven't caught one of these lives in a while. Always fun. Congrats on your channel growth and consistency. Well, thank you. Do you recall many, you're one of the first ones that was with us when we started these lives. So thanks for being here. Flippin' Con Marco says, hey, John and Jenna and the rest of the FAE family. Hope everyone is having an awesome week. Had a few sales this week.
Yay.
Yes, we are having a good week. I mean, sales, can't be the only reason why you're having a good or bad week, right? But the sales aside, being just kind of blah, everything else has been pretty good. Ashley Hookie, I know she corrected me. I'm so bad. Someone send me some Hooked on Phonics, please. She corrected us one time.
She did. I know.
But,
I remember, but I don't remember what it was.
I have a good memory, but it's short.
It's short.
Yeah. Silver Hair Stacker. We got Larry Todd. Larry Todd. The best hand model on YouTube.
Yay, Keena's back.
Keena's is afternoon, folks, huh? Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Kevin from Hawthorne. Kevin from Lakeland, Florida. He's going to move to Hawthorne, and he's going to totally mess me up here. Daniel Lesage from Baton Rouge says, hi, guys. Last night, I completed promoting all of my listings, about 780, 4%, and cleaning them up as I went. But business has all but died in the last week, and I didn't sell a pair of shoes.
But I did sell a pair of shoes.
I did, but I didn't. I haven't sold any shoes in a while.
This guy, you guys, this is what I deal with all day.
Ed, the reselling writer, says, hey, everyone. Thanks for being here, Ed. Lenny K says hello.
Lenny K is racking up the sales right now from the like button. He already got, how many? 2?
Awesome.
I think 2.
Okay, you're cheating. You're going ahead of us.
That's
Lawrence has a good question. Thanks for being here, Lawrence. Question, I was watching another eBay video, and on there they said eBay now has an AI in making listings that will add item descriptions and edits photos where. Well, I don't think
photos.
It's not going to edit your photos. That would be bad because the AI doesn't have any idea if it's tweaking your photos,
maybe
that could
it's
be
a
really
background
bad.
removal.
But the background removal they have really needs a lot of help.
It really does.
But
I don't even use it.
No.
I use Photo Room.
Now, the AI they do have AI now on the iPhone. I noticed that this last week, where if you're listing on the app, you can go in and have it generate an item description for you. Okay. Now, I haven't messed with that. I don't think it's a good thing because it's utilizing ChatGPT basically. It's like a plugin. There's a program called AIPRN that you can get as like a Google extension, and it adds other things that you can do with ChatGPT, and it's really cool, by the way. So if you ever have a chance to mess with it, that's something. Those of you who like to play with ChatGPT, that'll add another element to that. And I think that's all it is, because I've utilized ChatGPT to build item descriptions for a lot of the older LPs when I was listing those records. And a lot of them, I had no idea who was what and what songs that they were famous for. And it was able to provide a pretty nice little 1 or 2 paragraph breakdown of that record and what songs hit the top charts and, what, that particular artist was known for with that record or whatever. And I think it sometimes helps, because if someone's clicking on your item description, maybe this artist came out with 10 records, but they're not sure this is the record they're looking for. In your item description, it'll help confirm, oh yeah, this is the one I'm looking for, where I wouldn't have had any idea. So there's some value there, but many times I caught the AI trying to say, this record's in excellent condition, perfect shape.
So careful.
it's like, no, please don't mention, and you have to tell it, please do not mention item description in this description. And sometimes you have to tell it a couple times, and you have to tweak how you're telling it. I just don't like it. I think it's a very lazy way to sell, if I'm being honest, guys. I know that we want to take a lot of the work out of this, but
just want to make the work a little easier.
You're running the risk of an INAT, and I think that's going to start really increasing a lot of sellers' return ratios, and we want to avoid that. So Deportes en el Recuerdo says, "Hi everybody, please talk about." We just did. I think we asked it like a couple times, so that's not me repeating myself. Ed, the reselling writer, says, "I turned off my promoted listing completely. Joe said he saw good success with it, so no harm in trying. So my traffic is low with promoted anyways." I was watching Joe's video. Yeah, I was watching his video before we
What was that?
started. That was
looked like him in like 1970.
Yeah. I didn't get past the intro because I had a phone call coming in before the live, and so I told myself I'd just watch his show afterwards. But eBay's broken right now, guys. It's very broken in many different ways.
Not broken?
But it's more broken than it's more broken in the last few months than it ever has been. I mean, we talk about instances where, let's say in 2020, in the fall of 2020, they removed a lot of clothing photos lost a lot of pictures, folks selling clothing. But that's just one instance. Everyone else was fine. You know, if you weren't selling clothing, you didn't have any idea that there was a problem on eBay. But this type of thing, with what they're doing, we're talking about a loss in views. We don't know if it's really just the buyers can't see our items, and therefore maybe only 3/4 of the buyers who are trying to search for our items are actually finding them, or if maybe this is a numbers correction. We've seen that happen on YouTube, where they put too many views on a video, they've corrected it, they've had it wrong, and it's all programming. And maybe they're calculating the impressions incorrectly. Maybe they show up in search and show up twice in your report. It's hard to say because eBay's not telling anyone anything. All we can do is sit back and guess, but it's concerning when we see, and we're taking a look at our stats, and we see, wow, there's a huge drop of impressions since the 16th, and my sales aren't as good as they were since the 16th. What's really going on? And I can understand why people would be sort of worried about that. But taking measures, it's never a bad idea to try to do something different. If you get better results from doing something different, then by all means do it. I just know what's been working, and until I see something not work anymore, I'm just going to keep playing their game. Dixie Flipper, Mike, thanks for being here. Hi, John and Jenna. We got Miller Time. That's my son. Says, let's go.
Let's
thanks for being here.
go.
Check out his channel if you're into the gig. If you're
Gig
a delivery
work.
driver, yeah, they call it gig. But you do Instacart, Uber Eats, DoorDash, all that. Check out his channel. Flippin' Con Marco says, I might have to do whatnot auction to get rid of a few things that I've been holding on to. Love the hair, Jenna.
Oh, thank you.
Shinville General says, hi, y'all. Thanks for being here. We have Esther says, hello, Jenna and John. Thanks for being here, Esther.
Hello.
Kevin S says, hello. Thanks for being here. And then Devon says, glitches. Yep, but it's just a roadblock. I mean, if you come across the pothole in the road,
glitches.
If you're driving and you come across the pothole in the road, are you going to stop and say, you know what, I ain't going to drive anymore. I'm just going to go home. No, you're going to drive around it. And that's what, as sellers, we have to do. We have to figure out that there's a problem and just navigate around it. Constance Robinson says, hello, all from Texas. Yes, Constance.
And did you send up? Yep, your package is on its way. Promise you.
They just came and got it.
One email.
Gail says, hello, John, Jenna, and all the Flippin' family.
Hello.
Thanks for being here. Dean's in the house says, hello, John and Jen. I wanted to apologize to you for my son getting on here and making a rude comment. Sorry for his behavior.
What happened?
Well, wasn't that bad. I don't
Was
remember.
it on this live?
It's all right.
It doesn't matter.
You know what? I've been called, no matter what it was.
We
I've been called
probably
worse.
would have, raised an eyebrow if we thought that it was not of your nature.
Yeah.
Because we know that you don't have anything.
No big
to
deal.
say.
Empty Nesting says, my impressions dropped also around July 17th to 18th. That's generally when it started here on this report.
Yeah.
And who knows what it is. Kevin says less traffic would have less cost for eBay. Well, I didn't see a real drop in my external site views. My external site views seem to be about the same. It looks like it's more in the organic side. So it's not costing eBay any more or less for having, more or less organic views. Now, if there's a drop in the external views, now that's eBay pays Google Shopping to show your items. So that would, certainly save them some money. Joshua says, hi, everyone. Thanks for being here, Josh. Devon says, I could not accept an offer, a good offer. So it gave you an error message saying I can't. I think I heard someone say that, how they weren't able to accept an offer.
Yeah.
And that's not good, guys. I have currently, I think, 4 items that I've accepted an offer on, and I'm still awaiting payment. And they're pretty decent sales, too.
Yeah, I have one from yesterday.
I have a Onkyo receiver that's 120 plus shipping, still waiting. And then I gave him a good deal on that. I was going for 150, and I gave him a good deal. Some ballisters. So when you're trying to upgrade your railing on your stairs at home, your ballisters, gave them a good deal on that, no payment. And then also an elliptical machine that I sold for $40, but they probably got sticker shock looking at the shipping was well over $60. This is a pretty big
where
machine.
Are they going?
I don't know, but nonetheless, I'm still waiting on these to pay, and it just sucks. eBay is focused, and we talk about this a lot. eBay is focused on all these new things. Let's appeal to Gen Z and all that. I promise you, Gen Z is going to expect to have to pay, like when they pay on these other sites, when they agree to a deal.
Yeah.
When is eBay going to deliver on the things that they told us that they're going to deliver upon? Like these items can't be sold by me because they're waiting in layaway for these people to pick them up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't know when we became Kmart, but
yeah, well, no blue light specials here. Larry Todd says, I blame Tommy and Roman for my slow sales.
Me too.
I gotta say, I don't know if Roman's with us or not, but
I think he's.
Yeah, I was checking out his video today. We put out a little video where he went to the bins out, I guess, in the Cleveland area. Yeah, and oh my God, it's
Amazon.
There's like 4 people there.
Nobody there.
It's like if we had that in Vegas where there's like 3 or 4 people, I mean, I would probably go, but it's like a madhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised no one.
I could handle going to the bins like that. Now, the ones in Vegas, you're literally like elbow to elbow.
Yeah, I'm surprised no one's been shanked in that place.
They probably have. We just don't know about it.
We weren't there. Sherry Norton says, hello. Thanks for being here. Henri Squaw says, howdy. Howdy back.
Howdy.
Deportes says, is it another glitch or eBay trying to push us to do promoted advanced? Well, no, because they haven't been really pushing that in their messages. And, when you go into your listing, it'll give a little blurb above where they give the option to promote. No, I don't think so. I think that there's always glitches on the site, but I really do think that eBay is going to continue to push the envelope when they can with their standard, at least for now. Who knows? Maybe in a year from now, we'll be talking about how they're abusing the promoted advanced feature. Biff says, instead of guessing about eBay, which has become like part-time job the last 3 months, I'm cross-listing 30,000 items onto a specialty site.
Specialty site.
Yeah, I think that's wise.
Do tell.
I think that's really wise to do because, look, there's a segment of the buyer population or the customer population online that will never do business on eBay for whatever reason. Maybe they had bad experiences. Maybe for whatever reason, they just don't want to deal with eBay, or maybe they just find better deals on these other sites. And to not put your stuff on Mercari, Poshmark, like Ed likes to use Grailed, sites like that. You're missing out on a segment of the population who's looking for your stuff, but can't find it because it's not there. And I noticed that the Mercari, like for instance, Mercari, your competition's less. Yes, traffic is less over there, but you have fewer sellers that you're competing against. So why not? Why not give it a try? I mean, I was laughing earlier about Bonanza, how it's a joke. It's literally a joke, but my stuff is still on there, and I've sold 5 items this year. 5 more items that I may not have sold on eBay, and it took 10 minutes to set up. So find creative ways to get your stuff in front of other people. What were you going to say?
Who wants his bed back?
Oh, yeah, he moved. I don't think you can see because the arm of my chair, but he moved. I just take my word for it. He moved back to a spot, but we moved their beds where they were trying to lay. So, nonetheless, we took these guys to the groomer yesterday, and
Not we. I.
well, yeah, but we were both running around doing stuff. I'm picking up merchandise. She's taking dogs to the groomers.
There, now he's there.
And yeah, and they took some pretty cool little glamour shots. I'll probably post it on
they're
the
Facebook
community.
famous.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
It was so cute. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted it last night.
Henri Squaw says, I hit the like, I need a sale. Well, hit it.
I sure hope you get that sale.
I need a sale. You know what? It's funny.
I need a sale.
My sales were about $250 today, which isn't great. It's not bad. We sell the rest of the day, but sold an item that was about $100. I'm like, yeah, I got a sale. And I'm like, okay, well, they took an offer. They accepted an offer. About 5 minutes later, here comes the cha-ching for the payment. And then 3 minutes later, anyone want to guess what I heard? It's the little tune that eBay plays when you have a cancellation request. And of course,
sad.
They put on there that they ordered by mistake. So how do you accept an offer? Well, first of all, you make an offer, I accept it. You pay, okay, and then, or actually, I make an offer, you accept it, then you pay, and then you ordered it by mistake. You saw another item that eBay showed you is what happened. And again, that's another thing that eBay needs to get in here and fix. Why would you cause the buyer confusion like that? Had I been difficult and said, no, I'm not canceling anything, now you got an upset buyer that didn't need to be upset in the first place over what, $2? Anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. Callie Deb says, my impressions are down 6.63%, but my sales are up 18.76%. Feels really slow, however. Yeah, that's just it. My sales are, take away the last few days, my sales are on par with what they have been for the last 6 months. My impressions, according to the report, are down. My page views, but if you look at your page views, I think the page views are up. And that's really strange. How can you lose? Yeah, I'm up. My page views are
up 15%.
Yeah. And external page views up 63%, which is awesome. That's
crazy.
Telling you eBay's pushing these items out in front of more people off the site.
Good.
But how can you?
Rates.
How can you? It says I'm down 12% impressions, and I'm up 15.6% on page views. So how is that possible? That's why my thought is. That's why my thought is that there's for the last how many months? I don't know how many months that they've been misreporting the number of views we've been getting or impressions as compared to views. That's my thoughts on it. Or maybe just the opposite. Whatever they're doing to the site is screwing that up, what we're dealing with right now. Maybe we're getting a normal amount of impressions, but it's just not being reported properly. Could be a lot of things. Westlake Market says our sales were down big time yesterday and today. First Stop and Shop Kathy says I went from $700 to $1,000 a week to $150 to $300.
Ouch.
That's not good. And so just, I mean, I kind of say this same thing. It's hard to know what is happening with your store without really looking at it. But the first thing I'm looking at is maybe what I'm selling, I need to move away from. I'm selling new items every week because the same things that I was selling, say, a month ago isn't really quite available to me. It's kind of hard to deal. We're still dealing with liquidation, and you can really get a mixed bag of stuff, and you're just trying to sort through this stuff to find, buy costs / compared to what has been selling historically over the last 90 days. And there's times where you just buy an item that's just kind of dying off. And it could be that you have items that maybe were 2 months ago kind of hot, but not so hot right now. That makes sense.
Yeah, but I think it fluctuates all year, every year. It's up and down.
Sure.
I mean, with what we sell, we're going to have a big high and then, it'll dwindle down. And
I mean, if
it'll
you have,
come back up again. I just think that that's just the way sales work.
if you have, let's say, winter wear or ski gear, right? Naturally, you're going to see an uptick come the fall, right? In through the winter. But as the winter tails off, you're going to see it tail off as well, because people already have what they need for the most part. And now, as we are in the heart of summer, maybe people are starting to focus now. The kids are going back to school. The summer fun's coming to an end here pretty soon. And they're starting to look towards the things in the fall and not so much the things for the summer. I don't know. It depends a lot on what you're selling. And that's why I try to keep that in mind when I'm sourcing. Like, okay, maybe 2 months ago, this would have been something I would have bought. But you know what? I'm going to start getting away from this type of item. That way I can avoid any kind of a slowdown for that. Lenny K says the last 5 days have been good. $500 each day and 2 days of over $700.
That's
good.
Awesome.
Really good. But it's all perspective. So what is good, like $500 may seem like exactly what you want, right? But for some, that $500 is like, I can't survive on 500, depending on how much merchandise they have, how much overhead they have, and all that. So for some, I've heard some say, I'd love to have $200 a day in sales. So it just really depends. So that number could be either good or bad, depending on your situation. Rich Colby says, I believe in the philosophy of keeping your energy channeled into what's important, such as controlling what you can control. That's right. And not worrying about anything else. Hustle, adapt, succeed. So I 100% agree with that.
I agree 100%, Rich.
You can get to a point where it's like, wow, I'm not getting my sales. If you think about it, unless you're reporting a glitch that's like really a major glitch, and we've kind of talked about that before. Oh, there goes the FedEx guy. So, if you're reporting a glitch that's maybe major, that's affecting your account, it makes sense to call eBay. But if you're having a slow day in sales, it doesn't make sense to call eBay. Now, on last week, I had no sales on Thursday. I had $80 in sales on Friday. And Friday afternoon on the way from Vegas to California driving, I was trying to call eBay for a totally unrelated reason. And I wasn't going to get into a conversation about slow sales because I knew it wasn't going to do any good. They had told me that they were going to make me whole on a transaction. It was like a $125 deal. And the rep told me they were going to get back to me. A week passed, they never did. So I was trying to get a hold of the rep for that particular reason. But, it's not like I was going to say, hey, can you tell me why I'm not getting any sales here? They wouldn't have been able to give me that answer. I know sometimes people want to call to see what the servers are down or there's a problem we all know that there's a problem on eBay's end. So what are you going to do about it? You can do like Biff is doing. You can say, you know what? I'm not going to move off the site because I think that would be foolish. I think that's a foolish thing to do. If you do have good stuff to sell or decent stuff to sell, leaving eBay isn't the answer. I think what Biff was doing is maybe pushing stuff over to other platforms. I think that is a very good answer because there's a lot of folks who've utilized these tools like the one we use down below, Prime Lister, if you want to check out the free trial. That'll help you get your items in front of more people, and maybe the 2 or 3 extra sales you're going to get a week or more is going to help sort of bridge the gap. A lot of us, like some people I've been talking to, are down like 20-30% in sales. And doing something like that, getting your items out on another platform, just may kind of bridge the gap until we get to Q3, Q4. Devon says, please hit the like button. Please. Yes, I'd appreciate that, guys. It helps eBay get the word out about the community. We have over 200 people watching the live right now. And hopefully you guys have some pretty good questions or answers to this topic. I'd appreciate your input on this. Lenny just got the sale from the like, so awesome for that. Raul says hello from Southern California. Awesome. We love Southern California. That's our original home. Sammy Hall says hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. Sammy, Laura's with us today. And XDS36X says, I'm sure that the drop in impressions has to do with the hours per day that your items are not viewable. that could be it as well. You know, a lot of folks are saying, hey, in the middle of the night, I'm not getting nearly the kind of sales. I'm not waking up to offers like I was. And I can say that's the thing for me over the last couple of weeks. I've been getting up to 2 or 3 sales in the morning. I'd have, anywhere between 1 and 3 or 4 offers that are waiting for me. And it's like not as much anymore. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're doing a little road work and taking servers offline, and our items aren't being shown. 1 Foot Flippers with us. Thanks for being here. Monty Zuma says, hi, I just hit the like button hoping for a sale. Well, if not, come back and we'll give you your money back. But it works. I don't know why or how. I know we kind of started this off as a little running joke, but many people, they report, they hit the like button and boom, they get a sale. I don't know how it works, but it just does. That stranger says, I did sell a couple of things I knew would sell right away, and a couple of things I gave up on ever selling, but mainly it's been slow. Yeah, the answer really is just keep grinding, guys. I know that sales are slow, but historically in the summer, we're right in the heart of summer right now, guys. And I can say, if we had this conversation 10 years ago, I think many would be saying, why is it so slow? And we'd be pointing to the fact that it's summertime. Not saying that's the only reason. I'm not saying that everyone's going to experience slow sales because of that, because I surely haven't up until like the last few days. There's many different reasons for slow sales, but I do think just like we've taken trips to California, we're going to be taking a trip for Labor Day. Other people take time to spend time with family. Great weather in other parts of the country, I guess. And both sellers and buyers alike. And when you're removing sellers and buyers from the platform doing their own thing, they're not spending the same amount of time online buying stuff. That's why, if you guys remember the pandemic, when people were stuck in their house, guess what happened? Sales went up, right? Because people had extra time to go online and buy stuff. Well, they got extra money too, but they had extra time. If the government offered everyone trips to Disneyland, I'm sure that people would have spent less time online and more time traveling, but that didn't happen. Silverhair says, don't jack with my eBay, Jack.
Yeah.
Devon loves your shirt.
Thank you.
Devon loves your shirt. Ed, the reselling writer, says, I hope Poshmark, Macari, and the other marketplaces are paying attention and see if they can steal that eBay traffic. Well, they are. They are stealing eBay traffic because, these Gen Zers that eBay is trying to now decide to appeal to, they're shopping somewhere right now. Obviously, they're not shopping at eBay. Otherwise, eBay wouldn't be making a point to appeal to Gen Z, right? They're not trying to appeal to Gen X because Gen X is already here. So they're trying to get the attention of the Gen Z.
Gen X?
No. Yes, Gen X.
Gen X.
Yeah. And then you have millennials. I'm Gen X.
You're
I'm not baby boomer. I'm not that old.
I'm Gen X.
We're Gen X.
It's not a we. I don't think you are.
100%. I was born in 1973. That's Gen X. I think Gen X is to like 1980, 81, and then it goes to millennials, and that's to like 2000.
Oh, what's that?
That's a question. I'm sure it's it's just a follow-up email from somebody. So, Dre Work says, hi, John and Jenna. I had my first international shipping return, and as expected, eBay handled it completely, but there's no visibility of the return reason, return ID. Wish they'd allow sellers to see details. So I had 2 return requests today. Of course, these are remorse returns. The one guy bought a mower and he said he should have bought a electric mower because he's too old to push the mower. Well, that's not my problem, but nonetheless, when you're looking on the app, it's like I don't even know what you're returning. It doesn't even show you what they're trying to have you approve the return on. You have to kind of click out, go in and see what they're returning. That would be a little thing if eBay's watching to maybe add that. But it is nice to be able to see what the details are and to at least understand, well, why are you returning this thing? And I'm just waiting for my 3rd return.
Did you know one of those packages we just sent? When he scans it, it says international. When on his thing, it voices it.
Does it?
Yeah.
That was for Mark.
It was weird.
That one's for Mark.
Oh, that one's for Mark.
That was for Mark. We normally don't ship a lot of stuff international because, one, I'm opted out of the international shipping program. Totally fixed my sales. That was a couple months, 2-3 months ago. I just the other day, when I did the end item sell similar process on her store, I changed her business policies to opt in. So I opted out of international on the policies and opted in for international shipping program on your store. So we'll see maybe an uptick in that, or we will see even slower sales. So we'll see how that. I like to use that other account as as the way eBay treats us as beta testers. I use that as a beta testing platform.
Red-headed stepchild.
To see what happens and to tweak things. Aubrey Razzo says the old new features breaking old features run around. Yep.
Yeah.
And I got a sale.
That's a sale.
I got a sale. Sold a little mini bike. Sold one of these helmets behind me. Oh. And you see behind me on this, see it's backwards. Over here behind this shoulder, this is what's left of it. So I cleared out all the ones in the garage, and they're now here. We're probably down to about 35% of the stuff that we got. And I was able to use that room. I went out and bought
we got a new rack.
It was a 48 by 72 inch rack, and all of our boxes. We bought a lot more boxes lately. Boxes are now there. We can find them quickly, no problem. So
bubble wrap has a place to go.
Yeah.
It's all coming together. Thank goodness.
Rich Colby says it's funny. 2 sales can be dead, and then boom, something sells that you didn't expect. And for more than you expected, do the work, get those items listed, and be prepared for 180 plus million buyers.
Right.
And I think a lot of times we are thinking
Rich
in terms of,
man.
We don't think that there's many people selling out there because we're on our own island. Yeah, we're aware that there's other sellers out there, but we just don't really think how many sellers are really out there, right? And if you can appreciate the number of people who actually are out there selling and you're competing with, I'm in awe when someone comes across and finds my item because of all the people they could have bought from, they found my item. So depends on your perspective, but
that's when the quality of your pictures comes in, the quality of we know they don't read descriptions, but the quality of your description, the quality of your listing is imperative to keep you 1 foot above, or 1 foot ahead of the next person selling the same item.
A 1 foot flipper.
1 foot flipper. Yeah. I love his picture.
Check out his live stream later on this evening, but don't leave until this one's done. So do a raid on his account if you want.
Well,
so,
4 or 5.
Think about it this way, guys. A lot of people will tell you that item description doesn't mean anything. Okay. And why would eBay waste time? And of course, they're wasting money or spending money to implement AI to do something or to give you a tool to build your item description if it means nothing. If it's a worthless thing in the listing, why would they even bother to implement anything? Why wouldn't they just say, hey, this is optional. If you want to put extra stuff in here, guys, there's stuff in there. It gives you more than the 80 characters that your title initially gives you to tell your prospective buyer about the item. Okay. Other keywords that your buyer could type into a search. Maybe it's not in your title, but it's in your item description, right? eBay wouldn't spend that. Look, they're not in the business of spending money, right? We're trying to get them to spend money to fix things that we've been asking them to fix, like instant payment on deals that we're giving these buyers, and that still hasn't happened. That costs money. Any serious company, I think, would have that fixed by now, but it takes money. Why would they dump money into AI to implement a feature that doesn't mean anything? So yes, it's not the end of the world. The video I showed you, if you watch the video that I put out here recently, the last video I put out late last night, this morning, it talks about an account that I came across where they only had like 50 items listed. They had questionable feedback. They had, in my opinion, garbage titles. They had garbage listings. They had hardly anything, if no item description, and they're making sales because they're providing. It's like that example we used to always talk about. You can have crap for a listing, questionable photos, questionable feedback. And if you have the item that is in high demand, like tools in this particular case, they're going to sell. And, it's not to discount the fact that you need all these things like item description, good title, good photos, because I think collectively that really makes your listing strong. It makes a questionable item even better, if that makes sense. Yeah. But if you have really good stuff, you could just go on here, take a photo, do the basics on your phone, launch, right? And don't even need to pay attention to a lot of these item specifics unless you're dealing with, the required. But I just think most of us are dealing with questionable items. We're dealing with stuff that is kind of high competition, somewhat demand, not really high demand. And for that, we are in competition. So your job as a seller is to do everything you can to separate your listing above and beyond your competition. And that's why we talk about promoted listings. Yet it's just another thing that you can do to separate yourself from your competition, which is why if you don't have competition, if you have a one-of-a-kind item, why would you use promoted listings? It doesn't make any sense. Dre Work says, hi, John and Jenna, I had my first international shipping return, and I think we just talked about that one. Okay, sorry. Trying to catch up to you guys here. Rosie says, hi, John and Jenna. Hope you had a great week and a great weekend. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Aubrey says, yeah, like I talked about before on here, it's on the marketing and making it clear they won't get scammed on the platform.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's fair. I think eBay's buyer protection is fair. I think the seller protection is fair. How it's implemented needs a lot of work. The fact that, a lot of times the seller gets treated like the criminal and maybe our track record isn't taken into consideration, I think that's a problem. But overall, if they didn't offer any kind of seller protection or buyer protection, people would, I've seen some of these sellers on this, I've dealt with some of these sellers on this platform, just buying stuff on eBay. And there's a lot of bad sellers out there, guys. The fact that you guys are here watching this video or on YouTube watching seller content probably excludes most of you from that. Yeah. But there's people who don't care to learn. They're just here to sell stuff. They don't check their emails. They don't get back to buyers. They just, they use cereal boxes to ship stuff. And that makes all of us look bad, because that buyer, they had a bad experience and now they begrudgingly go back and buy again. And they're kind of expecting the same thing. Yeah. That's why
you think that's the norm when it shouldn't be.
That's why you get a lot of feedback that says, hey, this is a great seller, exceeded my expectations. Well, what expectations? You must have had some bad experiences.
Must have had no expectations.
Yeah. We have Tommy says, I called eBay because the humidity today was totally unnecessary to be this hot.
Then I'm going to call them about it here too.
But at least you can get through. When I was trying to call, I haven't been able to get through to eBay. It's like they're asking me for my phone number. Well, fine. Okay. So I give my phone number and then they ask me 30 questions. Well, why are you calling? Okay. Well, I'm calling because of a seller issue. Okay. Can you give me a better answer than that? So I'll tell them, return problem or whatever, right? Just to get someone on the line. How can you say, to get something resolved that you guys promised a call back on, but never gave me? So it says, okay, well, we have something for that in our system. Go on to this website on ebay.com under seller help, and we'll be able to give you all the information you need on that. Well, if I could find the answer I'm looking for online, I wouldn't be wasting my time calling you.
Yeah, that's all I see. They say goodbye.
Yeah, and don't even give me a chance to say anything else. So whatever. Devon says, my wallet shows up as far as ads on Facebook Marketplace for Posh.
My wallet
shows up on, so the item you're selling shows up as an ad on Facebook Marketplace for Posh. It's interesting. I wouldn't doubt that other sites are promoting on other sites. If we're
confused, I'm sure you're really confused.
Yeah. But I think what she's saying is that she's seeing that her item is up, showing as an advertisement on Facebook Marketplace, and it's initially listed on Poshmark.
Yeah.
Ed says, weird. I don't even like the AI description thing. Most buyers don't read the short description already.
Right.
Right. I had an item. It was this lighting fixture for your pool table, and it had all the pool balls on it. It's kind of cool little lighting fixture. Got it brand new, but whoever bought it and returned it kept the lampshades that are on the bottom of it. So they just sent the item back without the lampshades. So I listed it without the lampshades, and I put in the description that you'll have to buy lampshades for this because this is a return, and they returned it without them. And he got the item and said, "Hey, got the lighting, and you're going to need to send me the lampshades." I said, "The listing states specifically this doesn't come with lampshades." And we went back and forth. And this is last weekend. I'm out in the golf course. This is one of the problems I was dealing with. And so I had to do a copy paste of the item description that shows exactly what I was saying, along with a word for word, if you can't zoom in, here's what it says. And finally they went away. So people don't read. That's unfortunate.
Didn't he actually tell you that you changed the listing?
No, but that's happened before.
That guy?
No, that's happened like
There
twice
was another
before.
one.
People think sometimes that they've read the listing, and when they buy something because they didn't read, and then you pointed out that, hey, well, it says right here that it doesn't come with X, Y, and Z. They initially think that you went in and changed the listing to cover your butt, which you can't do, by the way. You cannot change anything. Even on if you've given an offer, nothing's been purchased yet, you can't change the listing. Ed says, I don't even like the AI. We already talked about that. 1 Foot Flipper says, no one reads the description in the first place. Last thing they're going to read is the item specifics listed out in complete sentences.
Yeah.
But I've had people ask me, look, I've read your description. Can you clarify what you mean when, if it works with this item? I've had people contact me about that. Rich says, AI scares me. Who else thinks James Cameron was onto something way before anyone else? Yeah, I think AI, look, we're just seeing the AI that we're allowed to see. Can you imagine the
There's
AI?
There's a lot more out there that you guys just don't see on a regular basis.
Yeah, can you imagine that technology? I mean, it's been in our, if you ever have the little Google or Google Assistant or the Amazon Alexa devices that listen in on you and all that stuff. I mean, it's just the technology that's out there, that's been out there, and we're just now getting the use of the basics. Can you just imagine what kind of AI is controlling things that your everyday life? Ed says, I want to meet those sellers who said AI unlocked it for them. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard anyone saying their sales went through the roof ever since using AI descriptions.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd rather not. Okay, personally, if you gave me the choice, I have to use AI descriptions or I don't use them at all, I wouldn't use them at all. I would just leave it blank. I just showed you a store that sells well without using descriptions. I think there's an importance to it, of course. Yeah, I did with that other store that V&V Finds, I believe the name was, where they had they had no item description. They're killing it. They had 50 items listed, selling 750 items in a 90-day period. There's other people out there who do well without putting item descriptions, but I think collectively, all these things that you do to your listing, it does make a difference versus just slapping the listing together. Let's see. Constance says, I still recommend proofing your description after using AI.
Absolutely.
Of course, if you're going to use AI, you got to double check it. But then at the end, if you got to double check the work? Can you imagine hiring an employee and you have them list for you, and every listing that they launch for you, you're double checking their work every time? It's almost not even worth it at that point. Kevin S says, if I can upload photos and AI generated the rest of the listing, that would be great. Mm-hmm. If it was 100% accurate.
If it was accurate, 110%.
So even if it was accurate 90% of the time, 10% of the listings are going to be wrong, and they're going to be opening you up for returns due to INAT. And that's the problem with it. Josh is in the house. Good afternoon, everyone. Go check out his channel.
Josh.
Rich says drop shipping from outside the U.S. would be strictly prohibited. Yeah, but I think the CEO just didn't understand what they meant by that. It's nothing to do with it. You have sellers in China that are not drop shipping. They're manufacturing this stuff. They're selling it for really dirt cheap because they can undercut every seller here. because they're selling it at a little bit above their cost, and they're getting dirt cheap shipping, like what, $2 or $3 or something.
It just
like
goes to show you that even, what is he, a CEO?
He is yeah.
That
Jamie's
don't
Ian
have a
Owen
clue.
is a CEO from eBay.
It's not until you're an actual seller on the platform that you understand what needs to change and upgrade and what doesn't.
As Donald says here, he's just talking in circles. That's we call that word salad.
Yep.
1 Foot Flipper says, I don't think most of us sell brand new cheap imported junk anyway, so the Chinese drop shippers are not competing with us. But the problem is, Joe DeMarco was talking about this. He sells hubcaps and things like that. So what'll happen is you have these cheaply made hubs that they're making, and for let's say a Toyota, right? They put it out there at half the price of what an OEM would be, and a buyer is just looking for the best price. So they're going to pass on Joe's item, even though he has a pretty good price on his, for this Chinese-made deal. It's going to get him half the price, and they get it. It's just junk. You take a look at some of the feedback on some of those accounts. It's not very good. Gail wants to know, is it after 4 days of no payment you can cancel a sale? Yes.
Yes.
So it has to be 4 days from the last time you sent an invoice. So be careful. Don't send new invoices.
Don't send new invoices.
Yeah.
At least from your PC.
Thomas says, well, they have to use solely a beta test in Germany and Australia. Was terrible for them. Now it's our turn. Yep. Get your seatbelts on for the ride. It's going to be fun. If you think you've seen everything, you haven't seen it yet. eBay is going to glitch us. It's a lot of people leaving the platform. You just got to accept it. Look, I'm just going to laugh at it. I'm going to report it to you guys, but we'll talk about it, make videos about it. But at the end of the day, we can't do anything about it. Let's see. Joshua says, I'm liking AI to do surveys just to supplement my income. Loving Smoky, Oregon. Smoky, Oregon. Where's Smoky, Oregon?
I'm thinking there's a fire and it's smoky.
I've been to Smoky, Oregon then. Because when I went up to Oregon a few years ago, around the salmon season, we had a lot of smoke in the air. I can tell you that.
Constance says, what's different? Your hair looks marvelous. Not you, John.
You don't want to see my hair.
Thank you.
Promise
All
you.
I did was straighten it. And it's clean. It's clean.
So Rich Colby says, someone thanked me for giving them a great price on an item recently and took the time to give me nice comments. Really appreciated that. A lot of buyers don't do that, let alone leave feedback. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is. But don't chase feedback. You never, I think a lot of new sellers, they wonder, why aren't people leaving me feedback? And sometimes you don't want the feedback that these buyers are going to give you. Just leave it alone. Side Gig says, it seems odd that the eBay guy called it our closets. That's a Poshmark
I thought the
word.
same thing.
Yeah.
I thought the same exact thing.
Well,
that's a weird.
Or is it that is how out of touch this guy is?
Yeah.
Shelly says, the economy sucks for one. eBay thinks the Philippines knows USA better and their buying habits. Not true. Yep. Westlake Market says, I get angry at technology problems. Shelly says, competing against China price is still an issue. It'll be an issue until they fix this little thing that they gave China many years ago, where they can ship to the United States dirt cheap. Yeah. And that's always been a thorn in sellers' sides. Seen a lot of sidebar stuff, so I'll try to skip through some of this. Sandy McNair says, I have 2 storage units. Rent went up on them, so I've been trying to sort out what is worth keeping, listing, and donate. I've been buying, selling, trading since age 14. I'm 60 now. So sell a TV and movie memorabilia. Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen a change in the market too over the years.
Over the years,
yeah. You know, what was hot, Blu-rays were hot 10, 15 years ago, and now you can't even give them away. Hustle and Grow.
Everything's digital.
Yeah. Hustle and Grow says, eBay announced that it's going to start taking item not received as a metric. I'm not sure if it's just international or across the board, but it's something they're watching now. But what gets me is, look, it's not like we're having our neighbor go in and deliver this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we all are using the same 3 carriers for the most part.
Right.
So the only metric eBay should be looking at is, did you get it in the mail when you said you'd be getting it? If you have 1 day handling, did you get it in the mail within that 1 day handling? If you're waiting 2-3 days after, well, that should be counted against you as a seller because you're not fulfilling your end of the bargain.
Right. But, if it's already given to the carrier, we can't control what happens after that.
Right.
I mean, how can you hold somebody accountable for something they had no part in? They got it out on time. Everything's great. You can't penalize somebody for that.
So I'd like to see how that's
unfair.
I'd like to see how that's implemented. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. We'll be definitely talking about that. If anything that hurts sellers, you just know that we're going to be talking about on this channel, because I think as sellers collectively, we need to voice things that are really not right. eBay has already shown many times they're not really in touch with the seller anyway. And hopefully that's not something that's going to be implemented against sellers. No Undefined 2 says, hey, John, and Rolling Stone.
Undefined 2's back!
Yeah. Thanks for popping in. I was getting kind of worried. We're going
to send out a search team.
That's right. Ed says that's why you put shows in the background so you can work and listen and you know what's going on without having to see the screen. Yes.
Yeah.
But you don't put shows on
that you have to watch
that are like car accidents and stuff. Yeah, you have this guy that you watch. He's in LA, and he listens to these police monitoring things, and he goes and chases these accidents. So when the guy gets there, of course, she's like, whoa.
I was eating my lunch. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Otherwise, I watch Law and Crime Network all day.
She does.
Okay.
She does.
But when I'm eating my lunch, I pause my work and I watch something.
We've got a lot of work. We've got a lot of work to do on that.
No, you can stay out of my business.
Sandy McNair says sales been slow off and on, but been selling store displays and soap opera magazines lately.
Soap opera magazines.
A lot of those older ones do have some value, like.
Oh, you mean like the
Inquirer? I know Archie sold some Inquirer magazines. Rich says, question: please elaborate on what you put in your item description as a standard for each listing, i.e. a template for all listings. Do you do customized for each listing? So what I've done is I've gone in and I've created a template. And what it is I have a template in place that it just says title here. It's in bold red. And then it says item underneath, says item condition. And then just a generic shoe item description, because I just had one for all the shoes we were selling at one point. But what I'll do is I'll take the title. Once I get the title right, I'll copy that. I'll paste it over once I drop the template in the item description, I will then add that to the item description. It'll replace where it says title here. And let me accept this offer real quick. And then I will then go into my item condition. Maybe I'll put in, this is a used item in lightly used condition, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I'll copy that and I'll paste that down underneath where it says item condition.
There's a lot of copying, pasting going on.
Yeah, and there's some people that'll put, maybe their return policy, maybe please, look at the photos as it's part of the item, description, that kind of thing. And as part of your template, and it's consistent. It just shows you, you have consistency. Yeah. I just have a very basic one. There's some people that have more of a, more of a formatted one. It looks more professional. But I think sometimes your buyer's seeking out information. A lot of times a buyer's looking to see if this item is going to fulfill a need, and your title is not going to be enough. Maybe you don't have enough in the item specifics to help them figure that out. So they're going to go to your item description, and that's a good place to maybe find bullets on the item, maybe take some bullets on that particular item, what it's for, what it does, and throw that underneath the title. I do that as well. Susan says, hi, everyone. I actually had a suggested promoted rate lower than what it had in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, it's lowering a little bit, but trust me, eBay is not trying to get rid of that. I think, if anything, they're trying to find a sweet spot where they can get more money coming in. What happened? What are you laughing at?
Design.
We'll get to that later. No one designs, just try to be funny. Hop in Missouri says, I do 2% across the board for promoted listings. The only problem I have with doing it 2%, I'd rather do 2.1, because how many other people are doing the bare minimum?
Yeah.
And again, the idea of using promoted listings is, how can you separate your item from the rest of the competition, right? So if you're at 2%, your competition's at 2%, well, eBay's going to, unless there's something else in the listings that are different, eBay's going to treat both listings fairly similar. That's kind of how I look at it. The Thrifty Loon is in the house. Thanks for being here. Biff says, I wonder if people realize that 15% of promoted will more than double their eBay fees.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes when it comes to math, some people just don't. They don't realize it until they get there. Until they see, well, how come I'm not making so much? Yeah. You see, a lot of times people will post stuff in the videos or the comments saying, I'm quitting eBay. They just, on a $50 item, only got $25, and I had to pay close to 30% in fees. Well, why did you do that? You got to know how much you're into the item for.
Yeah.
I mean, someone like me
have control over those things.
Yeah.
So
someone like me, look, I will have items I'll buy for $2, a list for $100. I got a lot of room to work with. If I wanted to, I could go 15%. I can even go 20% promoted listings. But for me, it's extra meat I'm leaving on the bone if I just continually give it to eBay. So you know what? It works. 10% or less works for me. It's up to you to find out what number works for you. But I would be very careful venturing beyond 10%, because you're now getting in way over what Mercari charges, Poshmark charges, and you'd be better off just cross-listing on those sites if you want more exposure. Rich says, same theory with that, what eBay recommends for pricing items. No way. It's always too low. I don't use that. I price based on what I know as experience on what things sell for and sold
in the comps. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, they paid. I can't believe it. Jerry Johnson says, hi, everyone. It's 97 degrees here in central Nebraska. We would love that.
97 degrees. I think we're going to come visit
I'd be out playing golf if I had 97 degrees. Callie Deb says, I will not promote at 15% either. I've been seeing that suggested on eBay. It's ridiculous to me. I sell many items organically, however.
Yeah.
Another thing that I want to remind everyone with is, I'd say about a third of your items, let's say you promote everything, a third of your items will still sell without a promoted rate attached to it organically. And the reason is, and I guess I'll just say it now because I guess it's probably not that big of a secret. I think anyone who knows their salt should know this by now, or has seen this by now. But when you have a buyer that sorts your listings by low price plus shipping, okay, they do their search that way, your listing is going to appear twice in search. Twice. Usually with the organic listing above the promoted listing, okay? Don't ask me why or how. It's not supposed to be that way. eBay was supposed to fix that a long time ago, and they never have. They fixed it on the best match. They never fixed it on the lowest plus shipping. And people who have decent prices are going to see more organic sales than someone who that tries to take advantage of promoted listings and upping their price of the item to compensate for that promoted listing rate. So just something to consider there. Callie Deb says, I will not promote. We already talked about that. Let's see.
Thank you, Sylvia.
SMKUR50 says, promoted is a joke. Took my store from 2% to 8% immediately. My daily impressions went from 80K to 130K. After 3 weeks, it steadily went back to 80K a day.
Wow.
I think everyone's seeing a drop in impressions. It's just being adjusted. Thomas says, the longer it takes to move, the less profit. Always remember this. Yeah, because if it takes a long time, you're going to have to maybe put that item on sale, lower your prices, put it on a site like Mercari, where you're never going to get eBay prices for. You got to remember that. That's why I always treat Mercari like my clearance aisle, because I know that with putting stuff on that platform, I can't ask the same amount that I ask on eBay.
Speaking of, I got to do a lot more cross-listing on Mercari.
Yes. And that's something that we kind of fell off a little bit. You know, when you start doing well on
We've
eBay,
just been so darn busy.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we are just nonstop.
Sales on eBay have been good for us. And, you know, when you're getting good sales on eBay, why would you take those same items and discount them on Mercari?
Yeah.
That's kind of why we've.
Well, that's what I
gone
mean
away
is
from
that the stuff that is on the crap that is on Hot Desert Deals, I need to get, you know, majority of it over there, at least 80% of it,
Yeah.
you know.
Tommy's right here. Everyone is always looking for a shortcut or secret to eBay. Spoiler alert, no secrets. List good items, take good picks, and price right is the only secret. And
Boom.
that's the example. That's pretty much the only takeaway I wanted you guys to get from the video I put out last night. My last video was, yeah, this guy probably could do a lot better on his account. Who knows where they got the stuff? I'm thinking this guy probably got this merchandise, a lot of these tools from a Home Depot pallet. They're very inexpensive when it comes to pallets as compared to other places to get your pallets. But the moral of the story of that video was to show you that despite all these things this person's doing wrong, they're making great sales because they've got good stuff to sell. And good stuff will sell itself almost every single time. Devon says, I agree. I've never been able to not accept an offer I countered with $1. Nothing. Really? Just my luck. I countered with $1 it takes. So I wouldn't have done that. But yeah, that's crazy. If it happens more than once, I would be contacting eBay to report that bug.
Yeah.
Eddie Estrada says, I've been selling a lot of fishing shirts lately, so I didn't notice at first, but after checking inventory, seems eBay deleted 6 or more listings, vanished, gone, nada. This is bad. But that's been going on for years.
Yep, that's been going on for a while. And that was, in the very beginning of this channel, John did a couple of videos, throughout that first, year or 2 years. And it was saying, don't forget to check your inventory, because that we said when we were going to get back from California, we need to go through our racks. And because we like to do it at least twice a year, once every 6 months, at least, because there's times where we'll come across stuff that, is just sitting on the rack and you're like, man, I've seen that thing for forever. It's been sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. But then you go and you check eBay and it's not even not even listed. And you're like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. And we, about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, this is at the other place, we have about 500 or 600 items listed. We went through our entire inventory. We found 72 items that were not listed, that were sitting on the shelf.
Yep.
That we had listed.
We took one full day and went rack by rack by rack and just found we had a whole pile.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Roman says, when I see Tommy start complaining about eBay glitches, then I will quit reselling forever. Lawrence says, eBay AI for photos will take your photos and automatically add backgrounds. If you take a photo of a football, it'll add a field in the background. But I don't like that. I'm a firm believer.
I want plain white so that Google will pick
I like that. I'm a big believer of that. Yeah. Tommy says, because of new ways to promote, there is less reserved spots for standard promoted, and you aren't ranking nearly as high. But you are. The goal is to be on page 1. I think find a way to get on page 1, as high up on page 1 as you can, because most buyers aren't going to venture beyond into page 2 or 3. They're going to look for a good price based on the results they see. But if you have a lot of competition and you're stuck on page 2 or 3 or 4 or more, then your listings are in trouble. Lilac Seller says, hey all, thanks for being here.
Hi, Meg.
Shelly has an opinion. I write up my description to sell the emotional side of my item to make the sale. What impresses me the most about the item I want to sell. And that's good. I think if you're thinking about a buyer, right? Buying and sales has a lot to do with feel. How are you making the buyer feel at that time? You're talking, how do you get someone that maybe just inquiring about an item to really having to have that item? And the difference is they don't necessarily feel like they need it now versus, wow, I really have to have this item. So you change the way they feel about that item, you're going to get the sale. NPC Oasis says, love you all. Yes, we love you too. But thanks for being here. Tina says, hello all. Thanks for being here, Tina. Tommy says, I don't see glitches because I don't use the website. Only people on the website see glitches. It's 2023. We have apps that work better than sites. But I use both. I will sit here and I will utilize the app for getting the listing started. I'll have my photos that are on Dropbox. I'll doctor them up on the computer, whatever I have to do, and then I'll launch them on the computer once everything's set. That's just how I do it. It works for me.
The opposite way.
Westlake Market says, wow, I just looked at my impressions and yeah, dropped big time from the 17th. Always be in tune with your traffic.
MK7.
MK7, thanks for being here. Please tell us the specialty site. Well, I mean, you're talking about Mercari. They sell
no,
everything.
I think they were talking about Dean's comment about his specialties. I want to know. Send me an email.
Insights say, hello, everyone. What do you think about the share it option? Think you're supposed to get discount on fees if it sells using this feature? Good question. I've never used it. I'm just thinking it's another way to push your items out to maybe you have Instagram. Maybe it allow you to post your items that way. I've never used it though. So if anyone's had success, please put that in the chat. G Mentals say, hello from MD, Maryland. I've been watching for about a year. This is my first time catching it live. Thanks for all the great content.
Well, thanks for commenting.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
You're so brave.
Awesome. Shelly says, can you list in one sentence a numbered list of all that is wrong with the last 2 months?
Oh, God, no.
No, I don't even want to try.
Not even a paragraph.
John Gaynor's in the house. Hi, John.
Hi,
and
John.
Jenna and John, how do you keep your buying under control so your inventory does not overtake the room you have in your house? It's a game of what's that game? I keep forgetting it. Tetris. It's a Tetris game. So, it's about, I have a section over here on this side of the garage where I constantly rotate. So to me, it's about this. It's like, okay, I know I'm going to be picking up throughout the week. I'm buying stuff. So I know I'm picking up on Thursdays, maybe 30, 40 items. I need to make sure my butt's listing stuff constantly so that I can take that space. So those items are now up on racks. That means they're listed.
And when he complains at the end of the day that there wasn't enough time in the day and he wasn't able to get as many listings as he wanted, then my thought process goes to, oh, great. We already know that he's been sourcing. And so those are going to be coming into the garage in the next couple of days, which means the pile up on the side of the wall by the garage is going to get a little too much.
But we've never had that problem yet.
So far,
because that is my monitor of like, maybe I need to work a little longer. Maybe I need to sorry, Roman, can't watch your live stream today. And I have to get my S together. Right. Yeah. So it's being accountable to yourself and your situation.
I say that on Tuesday when it's not so hot, that's when we go in there and do inventory.
I agree. I mean, that's another thing. Just trying maybe I need to get some.
When these thoughts pop in my head, I have to say them right now. Otherwise, I forget.
Ping G's with us. Thanks for being here, Ping. Computer states I'm not connected to the internet. I can read the live chat, but no video for John and Jenna.
Aww.
So I guess part of the internet is working. Oh my, the video is now working.
Oh.
That's awesome. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Ping.
1 Foot Flipper says, thanks to whoever it was that pointed to me that the GoPro subscription software being able to live stream already got it working. I've got a GoPro 10 and I rarely use that thing. I need to do a better job.
We could go live on that thing.
Well, then you look into that. You tell me how to set it up. I like the way we have this. Tina is in the house. This says, I've been on selling eBay for 12 years and it's never been this slow in the summer. It's not for lack of buyers. There's definitely something going on behind the scenes. You may be right with that. I mean, you may be right, but what is your alternative?
We'll never know.
So we can be aware of it, right? But what's the alternative at this point? I think Biff said it best. Cross post, I like that. That's a good idea, but I think giving up should be the last option, really, unless you're doing just really horrible. You've tried it all and you're just doing that bad. The Variety Flipper says, hello, everyone. Hope all is well. So far. Just getting through the summer, just trying to get through the heat the best we can.
Yeah.
No One Designs says, Roman came clean. That wasn't the AZ or Amazon
Amazon
bins. That
bins.
that was your garage, right? And all those people were all your family. Wow. You guys talk a lot of stuff at each other.
I love it.
What no graphics says part-time here. I only list every 2 weeks. When eBay do the 70-80% off promo to save on seller fees. Anyone else, or it is a bad thing not to list all the time. I think my personal thought is it's about consistency. Yeah, you don't have to list every day, but I think if you get yourself in the mindset of listing every day, it's just ingrained into your day, right? And eBay wants daily attention in some way, shape, or form. Doesn't have to be a listing, but maybe, like we had that analogy, it wants your attention. Maybe today you're not listing or taking it to the park, but maybe you just need to sit with it a little bit and review what your store is. Maybe add some item specifics or make some changes.
Give it a treat.
Listing. Yeah. The Variety Flipper says impressions. I just got off the phone with eBay because my impressions have not been over 10,000 in a day in over a year.
Oh.
Finally, they admitted because they were suppressing my account. Well, now I think you need to ask them why. Did you ask them why they were suppressing your account?
Yeah.
Because it's like, wait, I pay fees. I ain't suppressing any money that's coming out of my sales. What's going on with that? Nick Picker says you should be able to see the return reason. I have as a few, and I usually get an email from eBay about the return, and then immediately after another email saying return closed. On the PC, you can when you click on return details, but on the app, it won't show you right away. You have to kind of click away and find the actual return, which is kind of because I want to see what it is. I mean, I'm going to approve the return either way, but maybe I'll buy the label through eBay because it's the same price versus it's a large item and I'm going to upload my own return label through FedEx. We have Montezuma. I think eBay did a site update and is working out the bugs. I was not able to create a coupon or accept an offer. So it may be that's just, what you're not able to do today, you might be able to do tomorrow.
Yeah, make yourself a little note.
NPC Oasis says, that store is real lazy, bad. Flipping ain't easy, and are selling return tools like that with description is high risk. Yeah, they could have done a very much better job in maybe describing, these aren't new tools. Maybe they would have had less sales, but I would have done a lot differently anyway. Sell the item a little cheaper, but you add in the shipping. Maybe calculated shipping into that, so you're not losing your tail if someone across the other side of the country is buying your item.
Well, you kind of want to lose your tail.
No, I don't want to lose no tails.
Nobody wants a tail.
Our dogs do.
Except,
you want to tell that story?
No.
Okay.
I think we did tell our stuff.
Wolfgang Applejacks says, I saw a solid listing I saw a sold listing for an early 90s Taco Bell mild sauce packet for $100 for real. So
yeah, you'd be just keep scouring eBay in those searches. Look up the most wrong thing that you can think of to look for that's selling on eBay, and you'll find it.
Now, I agree with Tommy a lot. I don't know if I agree here. People look at it totally wrong. eBay doesn't bring buyers to a platform. Our items bring buyers. If you sell items that interest 60 to 80-year-olds, that is what you get. Well, then, okay. So if our items bring buyers, where are the Gen Zs? Why is eBay having a hard time getting the Gen Zs to the site? Now they have to revamp a site. If your items are bringing the Gen Zs, then your statement would be accurate, but that's not the case here. eBay, the only thing that is good about eBay, in my opinion, and keeps eBay viable is the fact that they bring traffic. So they do their job. Their job is to get buyers to the platform and or get our items in front of potential buyers, i.e. Google ads, right? Google shopping. They have to pay Google for that. So that's eBay's job. And once the buyer sees our item, that's an impression, then it's really up to, did the seller do a good job in everything they had to do with promoted? That's part of it. Your price, your photos, all the little intangibles that separates your listing from everyone else. With that being the case, Mercari would have already surpassed eBay. eBay is so screwed up right now that they should have lost a lot of market share, and they are losing market share, but not as fast as it probably should be. So they're doing some things right in retaining what they have been able to retain. I just think that based on what I've seen, and I look a lot of numbers, a lot of stats, right? eBay is losing or they're slowly losing their buyers and sellers because of the many problems that they are forcing. I mean, we're not even talking about the stuff that the buyers are dealing with. What are the buyers dealing with? Can you just imagine how many buyers don't even report they tried to buy a certain item on eBay? They had to go to Mercari to buy it because they couldn't check out. I just wonder, and I'm sure it's a thing, and we're never going to hear about it because most of us aren't buying on eBay. Terry Kyle says, I spent a great deal of time wrapping ceramic figurines to send to a buyer. Several of them were broken in transit.
Aww.
The seller obviously wants to be compensated. How do I handle this? Well, they need to open the claim, and you need to hope that your buyer is willing to work with you on this a little bit. And they need to open the claim, take the photos, and once the claim is opened, at that point, they've shown you the photos. It's probably a good idea to just give them their money back. And then
definitely file a claim.
Yeah, the wrong thing to do is to have them send it back to you, because then you'll fail the claim process, because you can't take a broken item and send it in mail again to get broken even more.
That's a bummer. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Let's see. Christine Moses says, I thought it was crazy. My secret eBay phone number did the same. The bot voice is so rude. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You should have heard him. We were on our way to California, and he was just like ripping her a new one.
Yes, when YouTubers are telling viewers, they call in every day about every little thing, the viewers start to do it. They had to start redirecting traffic. Yeah. And all I was trying to do is follow up on a, potentially $125 deal that eBay was going to take care of, and I don't know what they've done. They didn't follow up with it. That's
Nobody
for sure.
Followed up.
The Variety Flipper says, anyhow, she finally asked, do you drop ship? I said no, and she went through where do I get my items and such, and she said this is why my listings are suppressed. She said she would put it in appeal. Now,
wow,
that happened to me because this is back in 2019, and my sales, you think in Q4 your sales will start to ramp up. Mine did the opposite. I'm like, okay, they have to flag my account. And so I contacted them, and they finally admitted, yeah, they think that you're a drop shipper. Or we think that you're into drop shipping. I said, well, who drop ships used items? Who drop ships open boxed items? These drop shippers that you guys aren't doing anything about, I mean, they're rampant on the site, but yet you want to attack me. So I said, I will send you 21 invoices for 21 pallets of merchandise I've purchased in 2019. And eventually I got a supervisor on the line, and they gave me the upload link where I was able to upload that information. And within 48 hours, my sales were normalized. But they're going to need to see some kind of proof that you're buying this stuff. Yeah. And if you're buying from yard sales and they suspect that, that's going to be a little harder to do. Shane Brennan says, people know what that you can start on eBay account, bid, win, and walk away with no consequences. They run it alongside their own legit seller account. Yeah, the eBay knows that there are bad people with bad intentions, and unfortunately, because it's happened many, many times, they have to treat everyone along the same lines, and they can't say to one person, okay, we're going to believe you because you have a good selling record. We can believe that this wasn't an INAD, but this person we're not. They're not going to do it that way. Tommy says, if you drop your items at a different post office or ones outside your zip code, your account can get flagged for drop shipping if you moved and didn't edit zip code on items. Yes. Yeah. That can happen. That can happen. Shane says, as a bidder, you don't have to give two figs about winning and walking away. As a seller, one complaint, you can get shut down. That's true. It's true, especially if you are on their radar like I am. Tommy Bernard says, eBay is a technology company. They link IP address, MAC addresses, family addresses, and much more. If one account is banned, it takes a lot to open another. I agree with that, but they won't put that same energy into fixing half their problems.
Back up.
Did I miss something?
right under Tommy's. What Devon say?
Jenna, Oregon is on fire.
And I don't think John knows that.
No, I don't know that. But I know now.
Apparently he didn't.
This is where I tune in to get my news. I just rely on you guys.
You guys give us all the info.
Yeah. Joe Samard says, howdy. Thanks for being here. My paper route says, I've noticed something odd for a few weeks now. My external site views are way higher than ever before. Yes, my external site's views are up as well, which is, it just doesn't make sense.
64%.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. If we're losing impressions, then how are page views going up? That's why I think that internally, I think their numbers were screwed up and they're now fixing them. Or they're now screwed up and they need to get fixed. One of the two. Shelly says, I hear now that support is no longer supported by a human on the other end of the phone. Is this true? I don't know. I haven't been able to get a hold of anyone, but I haven't tried to call in like a week. So I can tell you this.
It's quite possible.
I got another offer.
We like offers.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God.
You know what? I think that's the one that I have on parts repair, and I just want to get rid of it.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I'm going to get rid of it.
Wow.
I'll pay that for a sound effect. Hit the like button so that you can get the same sound that you're going to hear here in a few seconds. Glenda says, hi all, I'm late. It was half price day at the thrift store.
Good for you, Glenda. Half price? Yeah.
David Lindsay says, I'm a top rated seller, but I want to rid myself of the negative feedback left by abusive buyers. Call them out, and they have left vindictive negative feedback, but I want to have 100% positive. So you go into help and contact. This is what I've done. I've had 2 negative feedbacks in the last 2 weeks that were gone. They say within 8 hours, it's closer to about 12 hours. Go into help and contact. And then once you get there, you'll go to, in green, the second bullet point says request to move feedback. Remove feedback. And then you'll find the one and just put request to move. Find the reason, put the reason why you want it removed, and they'll get back to you. Now, always point to eBay policy. So in this one, profane or inappropriate remarks, you want to click that and maybe ask them to please review messages from buyer. They violated eBay policy, blah, blah, blah. And that's the best way to approach that. Tommy says, China is still considered a transitional country, so shipping to a developed country is highly subsidized. Trump vowed to remove it, but chickened out like the rest. Yeah, and China maybe 20 years ago was transitional. They're no longer that anymore, but they're taking advantage of it. Noah Design says, hey, John, when your wife starts watching a lot of law and crime shows, make sure you check your insurance policy to see if it has increased. I do this for mine when my wife goes on a binge of crime shows. Yeah, I can tell you, she's probably now, she knows how to get away with every possible way to off me if she really wanted to.
I love true crime.
Yeah, you don't love me, but
yes, I do. I love you.
eBay will still ding you if you don't mail out in time, even if you contact them to let them know you're waiting because the customer is still bidding and winning auctions with the customer's consent.
Yeah.
That's why you don't want them to pay for it. So the way I had my account set up, my other account, is I didn't have an instant payment required. So I only had the buyer buy when they're, or pay when they're ready to buy, you know, when they wanted all their stuff shipped. If they're still shopping, I just tell them, just hold off until you're ready. Shane says, I went to sell on excavator on eBay.
Sell an excavator.
Wow, that's a big item. I think they wanted like 10% of the final value, which is like $8,000. I ended up putting it on a car and plant trader app for 40 pounds to list for a month. Did you sell it?
Wow.
That's pretty different. That's for sure.
Wow.
Thomas says,
eBay, I know you could buy cars.
Yeah, eBay doesn't promote every item. It's up to their discretion based on listing quality. Yep, I agree with that. Shelly McDonald says, cheaper than hiring a QA team or QAs or VA, I'm sure you mean. Just throw the code out there or throw spaghetti against the wall to see if it sticks. I think we're underpaid beta testers. Yes. We're not getting anything for it. David says, if you bulk edit your listings, you will see a drop in sales because there's a buffer period while the updates are processing, and sometimes listing will be unavailable for up to 24 hours. I Never experienced that. I do an end item sell similar process every Thursday, and within 30 minutes, my items are back up in search. That's just me, though. The Hustle Couple says, we actually have had the opposite experiences lately. Mercari sales have been higher dollar, although much less in volume. And much of it's probably what you're selling. So that could be a lot to do with it, too. Rich says, what's worse than when you sell an item you cannot find in your inventory?
Oh,
Had this
that's
happen
the worst.
recently due to eBay automatically listing an item. Unbeknownst to me, I fixed that from happening again. Now that's horrible.
Well, yeah, or you just have, your coworker here put the stuff in a wrong area.
You move things around once in a while. Tegan says, I don't know what was going on this week. No sales for 4 days straight. Then 2K in sales today, and mostly going to Australia. Yeah, I mean, it happened last week. I had no sales on Thursday, $80-something on Friday, and then followed up with $1,000 in sales on Saturday. I don't know. It's just weird how that is. Tommy says, I don't doubt there's glitches. I see them when the Hustle Couple lists. I'm just saying I don't see them on the app very often. I do get a bad day or two of sales a week like everyone else. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't expect great days every day. I mean, I was getting spoiled for a while where I'm like, wow, every day is at least $300+. And then I get a couple of days where nothing. It's like, what's going on?
Well, like yesterday, he's like, oh my gosh, we've only done 300.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're lucky you did 300. How about be grateful?
I'm always wanting more if I can get it. Shane says it's all about keeping the wheels turning, packaging everything ready for the post address the same time you list it. Go fishing, keep putting the note out there, i.e. listings. Yeah. Raina says, last Sunday, I sold a mug for $35. The next day, I got a notification that the same item sold for $65. I was surprised, but when I checked eBay, it took me to the page of the same buyer, nothing for $65.
That's
weird.
Bizarre.
That's a reportable offense, I think. Yeah. Adrian A says, do I need a store or not? Is there an advantage to having one?
Tell me, do I need it or not?
Well, think of it this way. You have an item that you're selling, your competition's selling the same item. They have a store, you don't. They have access to markdown discounts, you don't. They have access to coupons to mark down the item, and I think it's a really good feature. Public coupons are like just eye candy to a buyer. They see, 10%. That maybe will seal the deal on a purchase. You don't.
It'll seal the deal for me.
And so if you don't have a store, you're not able to do those things. So I think it's well worth it from just that standpoint. Raymond Mayberry says, views are down for sure. I finally received payment for the speakers, $7,800 for the pair. You just have to list better stuff to keep the sales up. Yep. High quality, high priced items, higher ASP items will almost always have more demand than the cheaper stuff. That is my experience, and that's why we've been doing well the last 6+ months now. Backyard Mowing says, I was just the summer splash coupon on eBay. The first 2 days were awesome. Last couple of days tanked. This is an eBay sponsored coupon, so it's something, and I don't know where the rest of your comment is, but I get your point. Yeah, coupons that eBay advertises will definitely drive sales for sure. Yeah. Shane says people like buying stuff that's in season. As a seller, it's your job to buy snowboards in July and to sell again in winter. Mm-hmm. But if you're buying those snowboards in February, you're going to have a harder time selling than if you bought those same snowboards just months earlier. And that's the trend I'm getting out of. And sometimes if you're just relying on sold comps, the last 90 days are going to show you that those snowboards sold. What they're not going to tell you is that it's getting out of season, and it's probably not that's where common sense comes in. It's probably not a good idea to be buying those snowboards in February, March, right? Unless you have a buyer lined up right now. Otherwise, you want to pass on that type of stuff. Just Sally says, I've been experiencing a problem printing labels on my zebra in my store. They don't show correctly, so have to copy info and ship in pirate ship. No problem with labels in my older store, or my other older store. Really strange. That's definitely an eBay thing. If one store is allowing you to run labels and the other one isn't. Shane says those negative feedbacks most probably came from sellers shifting the same sort of product they purchased through one of their friends' accounts or a ghost account. It's hard to say. Rich says, trying the strategy of running a store, sale plus a coupon at the same time right now. Hopefully that'll help. People do love sales. I recall,
Yes, they
Rich, about a year ago, when my sales expired, my markdown sales, I forgot to put a new one up. My sales just tanked. So I have it set up now where I go in and run a sale. I plan out 2-week sales and schedule them to run every 2 weeks, 6 months out, so that I don't have to think about it. And that works out well. Jeff Zennick says, could the recent uptick in external views be because recently everyone is enrolled into the international shipping and additional views are international views? It is just speculation. Well, I can help you find the answer to that because a couple months ago, I opted out of that program. So my external views went up regardless. So that should tell you that that's not it. I just think maybe eBay's spending more money getting our items out externally, which is a good thing, I think. Jovial says, try 2 sales in 6 days. I could throw up right now. That's no good. 2 sales in 6 days. Well, keep listing. You can't control it. Maybe
keep going. You got this.
I mean, check your items. Make sure they're priced appropriately. Make sure you have them in the right categories. I mean, simple things like that you think are kind of no-brainers, but you'd be surprised. You'll find some items in your store. She shed shopping. About 3 weeks ago, my sales tanking. I removed eBay international shipping, and things are getting close to normal again. Love you guys. Thanks for all the great videos, Susan.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't know, Susan, for some people it worked, for some people it didn't, but it's worth trying.
But it's worth trying when you're having no sales or it's just tanking and nothing's happening. You got to try something new.
Yeah.
You know, and if it doesn't work, then you go back to what you were doing.
Exactly.
And try and figure out. It's called troubleshooting. A lot of people don't like to do it, but we do it all the time.
I mean, what are you going to lose? What are you going to lose if you're not making sales?
Yeah.
David Thompson says, howdy, finally caught you on a live. Well, thanks for being here, David.
Thanks.
Elite Feet Plus says, what are your thoughts of being and using the top-rated seller if you qualify? The advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Of course, that's your account health. If your account health is listed as top-rated, you're going to be considered on a little higher level than someone who's just above average. So you want to strive for that. I just think that it's no different than having a good item description, right? It's not going to make or break your sales, but it's going to help you a little bit. It's collectively, all these things that you want to do are going to help you because you're being compared constantly to your competition. Noah Design says, John, I would check if there is a DNA starter kit somewhere in your house. I found one in my house, and wife said she wanted to follow along with the show. Wow.
Me and your wife would be really good friends.
Thomas says, my opinion is eBay keeps putting more and more weight on prices and search rank. I think the dads of pricing are the days. He put dads.
I know.
I mean, pricing with the best offer coming to an end. But yeah, I think you're probably right on that. But I think that was intentional because I'm already tripping up on actual correct words. Oh my, look at this dog. His head is buried.
His head is buried under the lip of the bed.
Oh my. He's comfortable.
He's comfy.
Yeah.
We took his winter coat off and now he's just living it up.
Thomas says eBay sent out a new $100 credit for Google promoted listings. More fun. Wow. Interesting. I'd like to see that.
Why can't they send me something?
No, they haven't. They know that they know what account that belongs to.
Yeah.
They ain't sending me anything.
Sad thing is we're all connected.
Yeah. Well, guys, we are almost at the 2-hour mark, and I got to tell you, we had a lot of good discussion this time. We had a lot of good questions, a lot of good answers from you guys. So thank you for hanging out with us this long. Almost 200 people the entire time. I think we were over 225 at one point.
Yeah.
But you know what? Look, guys. All these things going on. You got confused CEOs that are out of touch with their own product. You got site problems that are continuing to happen and will continue to happen as long as they're tinkering with the site, and they're telling us they're going to tinker with the site and instead of building another site. And I think that's a mistake, but of course it's less money to keep putting band-aids on your product. But we have to persevere, and complaining is only going to go so far. We have to actually just keep each other informed of the problems that we're encountering, but don't let it stop you from getting your stuff done, get your listings done. And if you have to, like Biff said, get your stuff on other platforms, because ultimately it's about making money. And if eBay is preventing you from doing that, you got to find creative ways to get the sale.
Yeah.
But these are all things we have to figure out, and just more examples of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent weekend.
Have a great weekend. Stay cool.
And we will talk to each and every one of you very, very soon. Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys. We love you. Mwah!